All right, ever find yourself flipping through old photos, not just like the posed ones, but the ones that really capture those core memories, those moments that make you, well, you,
Oh, absolutely. Those are the best kind.
right? And it gets you thinking, what is it about those moments, those qualities that make them so uniquely us? So that's what we're diving into today, figuring out what makes each of us special.
I am so here for this.
We're drawing inspiration from this text, What Makes You Special? It's written like a podcast episode itself called Lifelens Talks Podcast, and really encourages us to see ourselves and our experiences in a whole new light.
Sounds intriguing. Where do we even begin?
Well, get this. They suggest we start by grabbing a pen and paper, right now, and jotting down 3 qualities that make us special.
Ooh, I like that. There's something about actually writing things down, It's like it helps access a different part of your brain.
Totally. It's like taking those feelings, those instincts, and turning them into something concrete. And it's not just about identifying those qualities. The source goes on to emphasize how important it is to actually recognize and own them.
Which makes sense, right? It's that balance we all struggle with, wanting to fit in, but also wanting to stand out. Like, we crave connection, but we also need to express our individuality.
Totally.
Yeah.
It's like finding that sweet spot between being part of the group and letting your own unique voice shine through.
Exactly. Think about it. Every groundbreaking invention, every work of art, they all started with someone embracing what made them different.
That is such a powerful connection. And speaking of impact, the source goes on to share some really compelling examples of people who've made a difference precisely because they embraced their uniqueness.
Ooh, I'm always up for a good story. What kind of examples are we talking about here?
Well, it's not always about like having some extraordinary talent or anything. They highlight how even those seemingly ordinary qualities, when combined in the right way, can lead to amazing outcomes.
So it's more about the combination, the way those qualities work together, that makes all the difference.
Exactly. They emphasize how powerful it can be to combine our unique set of skills, our experiences, and our perspectives, and really own that unique blend.
Which is where things get really interesting, because it's not about comparing our journey to someone else's highlight reel. It's about understanding the unique impact our own story can have.
So we've established that everyone has a unique story, but how do we even begin to tap into that, to unlock that potential within ourselves?
Well, the Lifelens Talks podcast outlines 4 key strategies for embracing those unique qualities, and it all starts with taking a step back.
Taking a step back.
Yeah, a step back to look inward, to really engage in some serious self-reflection.
Okay, so like taking stock of all the experiences, the wins, the losses, the values that have shaped us along the way.
Exactly. The text suggests things like journaling or meditation, even those deep, late-night conversations with close friends, as ways to illuminate those sometimes hidden parts of ourselves. It's all about connecting with what truly motivates us, understanding what makes us tick.
Because without that self-awareness, it's easy to feel lost, like trying to navigate a maze without a map.
100%. And once we have that clear picture of our strengths, strategy number 2 kicks in, celebrating those wins, no matter how big or small.
It's funny how easy it is to downplay our accomplishments, right?
Yeah.
We get so caught up in striving for what's next that we forget to acknowledge how far we've already come.
It's true. And celebrating those wins, it's not just about fleeting feel-good moments, though. There's actual science behind it. When we pause to appreciate our achievements, we're actually training our brains to focus on the positive.
So we're creating like a mental highlight reel to combat that inner critic that's always trying to rain on our parade.
Exactly. And speaking of brains, have you ever heard of mirror neurons?
Vaguely. I think so, but remind me.
So mirror neurons, they're these fascinating cells in our brains that fire not only when we do something ourselves, but also when we observe someone else doing that same thing. Like, our brains are wired for empathy, for mimicking and learning from each other.
Okay, I'm with you so far.
Yeah.
But how do mirror neurons tie into all of this? Into celebrating our wins?
Well, it turns out mirror neurons, they're not just about physical actions, they respond to emotions too. So when we surround ourselves with people who uplift us, who celebrate our victories with us, our brains pick up on that positive energy and mirror it right back.
So it's like, what is that called? Emotional contagion, but like the good kind.
Exactly. And that leads us perfectly into strategy number 3. Surround yourself with positivity. The people we choose to spend our time with, they have a massive impact on how we see ourselves.
There's that saying, right? You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. I've always found that so insightful.
And now we're starting to understand why. Choosing to be around people who are supportive and encouraging, it's like we're creating an environment where our best selves can thrive, like providing fertile ground for those seeds of self-discovery to blossom.
So we're reflecting on our experiences, celebrating our wins, and plugging into a supportive network. What's the final ingredient in this recipe for embracing our unique awesomeness?
This is where the Lifelens Talks podcast encourages us to step into the power of our stories. To share them, I mean.
Oh, interesting. And not just like sharing our highlight reel, right? But being open about the challenges too, the moments that really tested us.
Exactly, because there's a vulnerability in that, a willingness to be authentic that really resonates with people.
It's like we're giving each other permission to say, hey, it's okay to not have it all figured out. We're all just figuring things out as we go, right?
100%. And when we share those experiences, we create real connections, you know? We realize we're not alone in our struggles, and often those shared stories, they can spark something even bigger than ourselves.
You mean like how social movements often gain momentum through those personal stories? Like, it's one thing to hear about an issue, but when you connect with someone's real-life experience of it, wow, that's powerful.
Exactly. Those stories, they cut through all the noise and remind us of our shared humanity. They remind us that behind every statistic, every headline, there are real people with real stories to tell.
It's about recognizing that our individual experiences, however unique they may seem, have the power to resonate, to inspire, and yeah, even to create change.
Which brings us back to the heart of today's deep dive, embracing what makes you special. It's not about seeking validation or comparing ourselves to others. It's about recognizing the unique value and impact that our own story can have.
So if you were the host of the next Lifelens Talks podcast, what story would you share? What experiences have shaped you? What challenges have you overcome? And what wisdom have you gained along the way?
Remember, discovering what makes you special, it's not a destination, it's a journey. Be curious, be open to new experiences, and most importantly, be yourself. That's where the real magic happens.